This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, welcome back everyone. I hope you're putting in enough efforts in terms of creating the documents and other things. Okay, because as I said, now it is all in your hands to put into practice whatever you have learned so that you will be able to understand and appreciate the things better. And by this time, at least, you should have got enough clarity on the role of a business analyst. If anyone says that, okay, as a business analyst, you just need to go to stakeholders, get the requirements, document, and that's it, your work is done. You would have got to know already by now that it is not that that simple. You have a lot of other things going into the process. Okay, any which ways, so we discussed about getting the inputs from the customer in terms of the amount that the customer wants to withdraw and the location. But when we were talking about location, there were a few points that came up. So first thing was, I said, like, at the end of the previous video, I was saying that there should be an integration between the mobile app that is getting created and Google Maps, so that you can display the Google Map within your app, the way it happens in your Uber also when you try to select a destination where you want to reach, right? Similar to that, it's not something totally new. There'll be some APIs or some other way it will be done at the back end, but you need to make sure that this is being done. And after doing that, the next step is here, uh, as you might have already observed, what is the app doing? When I go to this particular screen, the app is actually identifying where I am located right now, and based on that, it is showing me the ATMs, right? Or else, how will it know that, okay, yeah, it has to show only these three ATMs in the entire city of Dubai? There could be 20, 30 other ATMs, right? So it is showing based on my current location. Maybe my current location is something here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I don't know what went wrong. I'm just selecting this, and let's say this is my current location. Okay, so let's say this is my current location, and based on this, the app is doing calculation and identifying which are the nearest set of ATMs and showing me that. So to do that, it is identifying my current location. So does the app have my consent to capture my current location details? Again, this is a PII, personally identifiable information. So it cannot be taken without the customer's consent. So where does the app ask you for this consent? That, okay, we'll be using this particular, your current location and all. Exactly. If you've identified, it is correct. So when you're installing the app, it'll say that, please provide access to these, this, right? So in that, our app should be asking, you know, request permission for. So this should come initially, when you're actually installing the app itself. When you're downloading and installing the app, at that point of time, there should be a particular point here saying that, uh, please provide permission to access these particular functionalities of your smartphone. Functionalities, plural, what does it will see? So location, uh, permissions required to be granted by the customer during the app installation. Okay, so one is pretty much sure, location you need, right, from the customer. Location, current location, or location, what do you call it? Only when you have this current location you can show. So it is a necessity for you, like as an app you have to integrate this Google Maps and show the nearest ATMs. Means you need to know where the customer is based out of, located, right? So that is the reason you're saying current location is needed. We will talk about one more point. If the customer doesn't want to share the current location, what to do? We'll come to that point a little later. But let's close this point first. So permissions, location. Is there any other permission required? If you remember, in the login methods, we spoke about Face ID. So if the Face ID has to work, camera should be working, right? So camera permission should be given so that the moment the customer selects alternate login method, Face ID, automatically the front camera should open up so that customer can place the face image within that counters. of the face which is there in the app, and then allow to get that captured, right? Is there any other app permissions required? Well, I can't think of anything else, but for now, let's say that these two are required. So when you're installing the app asks you to provide these permissions, and after you provide the permission, it works. Let's say the customer says, no, no, I don't want to give the camera permission. Then what happens? You cannot capture Face ID. So the Face ID option cannot be provided to the customer. So if the customer doesn't allow camera option, you'll say that, you'll display a message saying that we cannot provide you the Face ID login method. Customer may say, okay, I don't want it. Pretty good, no problem. Similarly, now coming to this question, if the customer says, no, I don't want to share my current location, what do you do? It's a major block for you, right? I mean, if you don't know the customer location, how do you show the nearest ATMs? If you don't show the nearest ATMs, how do you calculate the amount which is there in the ATM and then see if the amount which the customer wants to withdraw is available or not? All these things are pretty much tied up, right? So what you do here is, if you still want to entertain such requests, what you may have to do is, if the customer says, I do not want to share the current location, or even if the customer shares the current location but wants to withdraw money from some other location, let's say on a Saturday at 10 a.m. in the morning, I have raised this request saying that I want to withdraw 20,000 rupees, but I know that I will be traveling to my friend's place, which is around say 20 kilometers away from here, and I'm in a hurry. So I want to raise this request and mention to Citibank that, you know what, I want to withdraw 20,000, but not from where I'm currently based out of, but I will be traveling 20 kilometers away to another location, and I want to withdraw money at the nearest ATM location from that specific spot where I would be, when I reach. Is that possible? So what I'm saying is, it need not always be that you need to stick to the nearest ATMs from the customer's current location itself. You might have to, for example, I might go to the office also. My office is around say 15 kilometers away from here, and I want to withdraw money from the ATM which is just on the other side of the road from my office entrance. So I might want to go there and withdraw the money because I know that I'm already getting late. So I just raise this request while having my breakfast. I'll go there, I'll reach, I'll withdraw the money and then enter the office. Possible. So how do you allow all those things to work out? So here, what you do is, after the customer after customer enters the amount to withdraw, after you're validating it, customer enters the ATM center details. If this is not possible, then you should say request customer to select location. Okay, and after selecting the location, you need to provide the customer the option to select the ATM. So maybe the way it can work is, even before showing the screen with the map and all, let's say that I'll keep something like this here, wherein I want the customer to mention the details, but as we discussed earlier, again, and asking the customer to enter the exact address, mall, street number, building number, that doesn't work, right? So what do you do? So this can be a drop down. What do you mean by drop down? Select, what do you say? City is pretty much fixed, of course. I mean, you cannot say that I want to travel to another country within next couple of hours and withdraw money. That we are not going that high level. Also, we're talking about within the city. So within city, there could be what do you say? Select location. Okay, and then I'll have one more such a thing. Okay, and here I'll say select ATM center. And as I said, these should be drop downs. So the way I would do it is, let me see if there is an option like this. Hopefully it should be there. Yeah, it is there. So I'll take this, reduce its size, and rotation works. Okay, so most of you would already be knowing what it is, but you might not be knowing that it is called a drop down. What I'm doing is I'm just keeping this option like this over here. Okay. You might have already used it in other apps and other websites and all that. What happens is select location, there'll be a drop down like this. You click on this, then entire list opens up. So here the customer city is at least known. Okay, city is known. Based on that, the select location, it'll maybe, let's say there are some 10 counties within your city. So it shows county number one, name, two, three, four, five, six. All those names will come up. Let me just. So if you select the, if you click on this drop down, it might say county one, county two. Okay, let's say that it gives you options like this. And then what you're doing is that you will select one of these counties. Okay, so of course this has become a little bigger, but it will be showing like this when you select it. The drop down comes up like this, and you select one of these things. Based on whatever county you select, it will show the respective ATMs within that county in the next drop down. For example, here if I select county 5, county 4, I'm just giving the random name like this, but imagine you're selecting the specific area within that city. Okay, within, for example, I hail from Hyderabad. So in Hyderabad, you have Madhapur, you have Jubilee Hills, you have Banjara Hills, you have Mushirabad, you have some 10, 20 Malkashgiri, like that areas are there. So when I select Jubilee Hills, within that Jubilee Hills area, what are the ATMs are there? That should come up in the next drop down. Whereas if I select something like, high tech city, then within that high tech city area, what are the different ATMs available? It should show that in the next drop down. That is how it works. Okay. So this is a drop down from which I select one thing. So whatever I select comes populated over here, and then this drop down will then uh, disappear, and then I select this one. It shows the specific ATMs within that drop down here. So again, how it will work is ATM 1, ATM 2, ATM 3, ATM 4, ATM 5. Okay, maybe there are just 5 ATMs within that location. It tells me, okay, these are the 5 ATMs within this location. Select which one you want. Okay, so in that case, this map will not be available at all. What is happening here is you are actually, okay, let me do it like this, or else and just copy paste this entire thing and put it on a different screen again. What I'm saying is, if the customer selects the location, okay, then no problem. I mean, if a customer gives the permission to enable the location, then no problem. You can show it this way, and you can show all these things. But if the customer says, no, I don't want to share my location, then you need to ask the location. You need to ask the ATM center. The customer mentions these two details. Based on that, you fix that particular ATM from where the money has to be withdrawn. And we discussed about this also the next point, which is like blocking that amount in that ATM and releasing it after 5 hours if the customer has not gone to that ATM within 5 hours. Again, is that possible? Of course. I might have planned to go to the office and then withdraw the money. But while on my way to the office, I might have received a call saying there's an urgent meeting to join. So I can't really step out to the ATM to withdraw the money. Rather, I might have to immediately get into the office and attend meetings, and then this 5 hours is gone. So I lose out this opportunity that amount will be withdrawn, and I will be receiving a notification on my phone saying that, on my app saying that, please raise another request because your earlier request has got timed out. Okay, so this is what is happening to make things even more easier. Okay, now here I was talking about the color coding. What is the color coding? So let's say that in this option it will not be there because you're selecting the location itself directly. Okay, now let's say these three are the nearest ATMs, but what is happening here is that out of these three ATMs, there's one ATM which is already running out of cash, or very less amount of cash is there. App when I'm when the app selects my current location and wants to show the nearest ATMs, it would have already done the check on how much amount is there over there, and it would have identified that okay, this particular location, it is difficult because by the time customer goes, it's already going to be out of cash. So such things I can show with a red one. And then there is another ATM which is having less amount of cash. Maybe I want to withdraw 20,000 and there's only 70,000 rupees in that cash in that ATM. Maybe you show that in this way. Okay. And when the customer hovers on this to select, you display a message saying that no. Where is that message box? Okay. When the customer selects something like this, you display a message saying that it looks a little odd, but okay. You enter the message here. Okay. Sorry, no cash available in this ATM to withdraw. Okay, you can display something like that. Similarly, if a customer is selecting an ATM center which is having less cash and which might run out of cash, so you'll say, hurry up, please go to this. If you select this ATM, please try to withdraw within the next couple of hours as it is short of cash. Something like that. You will show for amber. And green is something where enough amount is there in that ATM, so you can withdraw the money. So you're doing this. This is called as color coding. Okay. Beyond that, if you want to give much more information, what you can do is, let's say this is ATM 1, this is ATM 2, this is ATM 3, and this is ATM 4. Okay, now I can give a little bit more information here, saying something like ATM 1, say 3 kilometers away from you, and maybe address details and all that things. Similarly, just give me a few seconds of time. So what I'm doing is I'm saying that you can make things a little bit more easy for the customer by giving these specific details about each ATM so that the customer can select the one which he wants to go and withdraw the money from. Because you know the customer's current location, customer how far is he from every specific ATM. So you show this and then ask the customer to select these should be booked. Let me put it as buttons in that case. Okay, it's already selected. Shall I keep it like this? No, this is better. Okay, so I gave these options to the customer, and now customer has to select one of these, click on one of these buttons to select that, okay, I want to withdraw money from this ATM. And then the bank blocks that much amount in that particular ATM for the customer. And we discussed about 5 hours. Okay, so till here we are all clear about it. So we spoke about the app permissions and we spoke about the location, how it is going to be possible that customer doesn't want to specify the location and still you have to give the options. How do you do that? Okay, you give this way. There's one way. Maybe if customer selects or instead of this one like this, you can have a similar option. You can have these buttons even there. Why not? See, whatever really works better, you can use any of those options. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to stick to, just one option. So you can put it in this way. You don't have to really stick to this at all. You give the drop down for location, which is nothing but area or county or whatever it is. Once that is given, you give the question of selecting the ATM center. You give the options of what are the ATMs. Maybe as I said, you can give a few more address details in this. You can make it a little bigger. Can make it like this and give the address details over here. Okay, good point. So now you cannot mention the exact distance because you do not know the current location of the customer, right? So you should be a little wary about all these things. Okay, because as I said, now customer is saying I just want to pick up money or withdraw money from this particular location, this particular uh, area. Now in that area, you give the address details to the customer and let the customer select one of these options. Okay, that's how you'll be working. Street 10, XYZ building, ground floor, something like that. Okay, maybe similarly you give for the second, third, fourth, and customer selects. So now what you have done, customer has logged in, entered the amount, validation done on the amount, selected the location of the ATM where the customer wants, specified the ATM location where where the money is going to be withdrawn from. Now you give, what is the next thing? Do you require any other inputs from the customer? Okay, so think about it. If any other inputs are required, if no inputs are required, then what should be the next screen? Now that is where I was telling you that, if you have this visualization of all the screens in your mind, you will be able to have a better idea of the entire approach. Okay, so think of it. What would be the next screen that the customer should go from after selecting the what do you say, the location and all? What should be the next screen that customer would be requiring to move into? Okay, so that makes things almost like, we are at the fag end of this particular capstone project, requirements gathering. Okay, if you want to really focus on the documentation a little more, then you can actually create a minutes of meeting document of each and every video. Okay, so that you can talk about the action items, the specifications, the points detailed out and all those things. Then you can talk about the user stories, and then you can talk about the BRDs. Before doing all of these things, if you want, you can have created these, because trust me, these creating, the wireframes is not a tough job for this specific application that we're talking about. It's one single flow of sequence of diagrams that you need to look into, and that gives you a lot of confidence that okay, you can really work on it. And think of it in this way, like, even if you're asked to create a wireframe tomorrow, you'll be saying that yes, I know it, rather than being a little flummoxed about it. Anyways, we'll stop this video here. We'll again continue with the next segment in the next video, and maybe just one or two more videos, and we should be able to close this capstone project. Okay, thanks everyone.